so as Catherine was saying, I'm going to speak to you about Power BI pointers. I'm going to give you some small tips and tricks that can be useful for you. And as you probably know by now, my name is Priscilla Camp. Just a little bit about me. These are my 3 kids. They keep me busy. They're a little bit bigger now. It's a little bit of an older screenshot. My oldest is 12, my middle boy is 9, and my daughter is 5. And tomorrow they start school again. They're super excited. My daughter will be starting kindergarten. My middle son will be in 4th grade, and my oldest is going to be in 7th grade. So he's almost a teenager. So big changes for all of them. Okay, as Catherine was saying, a little bit about myself. I'm a business intelligence and analytics specialist at the University of Central Florida, not UF, not University of Florida, but the University of Central Florida, which is the Orlando area. I have my bachelor's degree in management and my master's in communication. I am a blogger at the Microsoft Power BI community. So what I'll talk about today is also on the community site as well as on my personal site, itdatadiva.com. Right now I have over 10 years of experience, and I can't believe it's been 10 years. It's going by so fast. And I started my career working for a startup small business in 2010, right after I had my first child. And my focus is T-SQL, data warehousing, Microsoft Power BI, business intelligence strategy. Recently, I started focusing on AI. And I forgot to add this part here, but I have my Microsoft certification as a data analyst associate. So that's in Power BI. And I also have it in AI fundamentals. I'm the leader of the Orlando Power BI user group. And tomorrow we do have a meeting, so I don't know if the time zone's over there. I think it may be later, but if you do have a chance to check it out, it is virtual. And we do have a bunch of people from all over the world join us. Usually sometimes the meetings are in the afternoon and other times the meetings are in the evening. Tomorrow's going to be in the evening though, because we have someone Pacific time. But if you do have a time, want to catch it out, please do, or just join the group because we have other meetings around noon, which I think is more convenient for you. Okay, as they were saying too, I'm on Twitter at itdatadiva. I'd love to connect with you, see what you know about Power BI and what you share, and I also love to share what I know. So please feel free to connect. I'm also on LinkedIn in case you're not on Twitter. And as you can see, my page, itdatadiva.com. We'll be going through that site today. I have my blogs on there. We're going to, kind of go over the tips and tricks. So please feel free to follow along on there. All right, so let's just talk about the agenda. This is going to be mostly demos. It's going to be hiding a column, how to hide a column header on a table in Power BI. We're going to discuss a little quick trick I found using the relative date filter in Power BI. And then I'm going to discuss with you what you should know about the sort by column setting in Power BI, which is another little trick. And then I also have how to add a toggle feature in Power BI. That will be the last one. I will try to go through that with you slowly. Now I have to mention that's the only one that I do not have a blog for. I've been trying to get to it, and I was given this presentation with my motivation that I was going to write this. But then I got really busy, so I still have not had a chance to put it up, but we can still go over it. It's fun, and if you want any additional information, please feel free to contact me about it. And then I'll just go over the Power BI quick reference sheet that I created about a year now ago, maybe a year and a half. It's been very popular in the community, and it's been very helpful to a lot of people, so I will share that with you last. Okay, so as I was saying, follow along on itdatadiva.com. And let's talk about demo 1. It's hide a column header on a table in Power BI. So if you go to itdatadiva.com, you can go to my blog. And if you can't see it, if you just go to the categories of Power BI, you should probably be able to find it in there. And let me know, though, if you can't find it. And, I don't mind waiting until someone is there in case they're having a little bit of issues. All right, so This is basically what happened is my supervisors, they wanted me to hide a column header over under. As you can see, I've underlined it here. And I had a hard time at first trying to solve it. There's different ways and different scenarios, but this particular scenario needed a certain way. So if you can see, I was able to do it. You can see over under, and then over here, it's now blank. So I just want to share with you the steps that I did to take it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of jump around. I'm going to end the slideshow, and I'm going to open up my Power BI report. So let me find it. I've got a few of them here, so just bear with me. I kind of wanted to open them so I didn't have to wait for them to load, but now I've got a few of them open, so I have to figure which one I want to show you. Here we go. Okay, so this is the report I was working on, and as I was showing you the demo, this is the over under, and this is the other column, and I was asked to hide it. And normally, your first instinct would be like, okay, let's rename this, let's hit backspace and hit OK. But look at that, it goes right back to over under, and you're thinking, all right, well, I try to hide it, and and back in the day, I also hit rename, and I just put a little period, and then I try to change it to like, a white color, just something to blend in, but it wasn't working. So what I figured, I was playing around, did some research, and if you kind of go over here to start, you go to character map, you wait for that brings up, you're going to want to go to your font, and you're going to want to select Courier New. And then you're going to want to go to Unicode, and you're going to want to select 200C. And what that's going to do is as soon as you put that in, that little box over here is going to navigate to up here to a blank space. And once you kind of see this highlighted, you're going to want to hit the select button. It's going to select that for you. And then you're going to want to hit copy. Now, once you've done that, you can go back over to the values, and you can go back over to your over under. You're going to want to hit rename for this visual, and you're just going to hit Control V, which is paste. For those of you who are not too familiar, then you're going to hit enter, and yay, there you go. The column name is now hidden, and you can only see the values in there. So a little easy trick, but I can tell you this stumps people up all the time, and that's why I decided to write a blog out just to help everyone and see how easily it can be done once you know that little tip there. Okay, so any questions on that? Otherwise, I'm just going to, or at least a quick question on it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna close it down for now. No? All right. So the next one, let me go back to my slide. The next one I'm going to talk about is a quick trick using the relative date filter in Power BI. So you can, slide back over into itdatadiva.com and go over to a blog, and I have a posting about that as well. And now I'm just going to slide over to, let's see. Sorry about that. Okay, incident management. I think this is the one right here. Okay, yes, this is it. Okay. So my issue here was that my supervisors, they wanted me to be able to have these reports kind of rolling. As many of you are kind of familiar with, the dates jump, the dates, you can select those 13 months, but they will not kind of in the actual Power BI service roll around. So what I did was I started to work with my date dimension, and as you can see, let me show you my date column to kind of give you a little bit of an example. As you can see here, I have my dates, and as everyone knows, it's one unique, field for each slide. And so my problem, hello? Oh, sorry, I thought I heard someone say something. So what I wanted to do is I needed to reflect that 13 months. So as you can see here, I have that selected. And I was playing around a bit, and what I did was I went to advanced filtering. Oh, excuse me, I went to relative date, and then I'm going to want to select is in the last. I'm going to hit 13, and then I'm going to hit months. And I'm just going to hit apply. And what that will do is that will give me the last 13 months. Now just beware that this is kind of an older version, so it's not going to update right now because I didn't want to update it because it would just kind of mess up everything I had set up. But if you look in my actual, I have a video of this too, but if you look in the actual video, it does hide those 13 months. And then what you're going to want to do is go back to basic filtering and then kind of leave it up here. And as you can see, there's nothing selected. So what happens is when you actually go to the service, you would hit publish, and then you would post to the, publish to the service. And once you do go there, you will no longer see that option of relative filter because you left it at basic filtering. And then you'll be able to kind of see that rolling 13 months. And the nice thing is it will change every 13 months. And let me show you on my actual blog site, since I don't want to refresh my data in there. If you can see my page, you can do it in the last 13 months, and you're going to hit apply filter. Then you're going to go back to the top field called filter type, and you're going to select basic filtering as I was saying. And then you're going to select publish. And over here, if I just, let me see if I can click on this. No, it's not for me. And over here, what I'm saying is you select the defaulted rolling 13 months report, you'll still be able to filter through the other months. And this was really important for my staff because they need to be able to filter on other dates. They don't want to be locked. And a lot of other presentations and videos that I saw, once you selected those dates, you were locked on those dates. So this way, with the advanced 13 months, it allows it to default to that 13 months, but you can actually still filter on those additional months when it's actually up in the service. If you see here, I included the link on my blog to my actual video where you can, watch it, kind of like a live version of it. And the trick works really well. We've implemented it, throughout the organization. The only odd behavior I did notice, and I wanted everyone to be aware of this, is if you look at the date range, and I kind of highlighted this because I think back then when I created this, I was doing the 13 months. Let me see what month it was for, October. And if you look at the very bottom, you'll see that it kind of points out September 5th through October 4th. However, if you do look at the visualization, it shows October 2019 to October 2020 for those rolling 13 months. So, when I spoke to my supervisor, we decided that small little, difference really didn't, matter for how powerful it was to give us those rolling 13 months. So that is a really neat little trick, and try it out when you have a chance. I have a lot of people who have used it, and they have found it very, very helpful. Okay, so that was the trick about the relative date filter in Power BI. I just want to go over the next one, which is Demo 3, which is what you should know about the sort by column setting in Power BI. This is really a great little thing to know about. I can tell you when I was doing this, I had a headache because I could not figure what was going on. So it's not very widely known, I don't believe, this little troubleshooting thing. And I can tell you, I think a decent amount of people have some issues with this. So I'm going to bring up that blog, and you should be able to find it pretty easily. And then I'm going to bring up my demo. See where I put it. Okay, here we go. All right. Let me just add this. Okay. So recently what happened was I had some, just to give you a little background, My requirement was to find a total of service requests because I work in the IT department of the University of Central Florida. So we're responsible for making sure our students are serviced on time. So what happened was, I was playing around and making sure my calculations were working correctly. And what happened was, as you can see here, I have this small table, and I gave you this brief view of April, May, and June. And if you can see over here, I had my count of requests per month. So in April, I had 5, in May, I had 4, in June, I had 3. And what happened was, if you look over here, the volume old calculation, I saw that it actually wasn't summarizing correctly. So if you select April, you think, okay, everything's good so far. Then when you select May, you see the calculation for April and May should be 9. And if you look over here, you're starting to get a calculation of 4 instead of 9. You're thinking, oh my goodness, did I write, my formula incorrectly? And, you have a lot of things running through your mind. Let me see if I can widen this. So, okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to look. I'm going to show you my calculation that I did. So I did a calculate expression. I did count rows, and I did all selected. So when the user selects a month and year, it should be doing the calculation. And I said, okay, well, my formula looks okay. What else could it be? So what I did, it looks like my camera went out for a second, but looks like it went back on. Okay, so what I did was I went over, and there's external tools, and you can use DAX Studio. I already opened it, so you didn't have to wait for the download time and whatnot. Because I know sometimes when I'm streaming, it slows down. And then you're going to want to perhaps turn on your performance analyzer. And what you're going to do is you're going to want to kind of troubleshoot and see what's going on. So I'm just going to share my screen, and I think everyone can probably see this. It's been changing pretty well. You can see here in DAX Studio, if you look, I had, this had copied some of the stuff I said, and I actually, put it up here. And let's see where exactly it is. I know I had it here somewhere. I know there's a lot of code here. So yes, you can see that it's actually summarizing month and calendar year, and also month and calendar year integer. You could think, okay, all right, what could that be? And if you actually remember, when you do have, month and calendar year, and you do have these here, you're going to want to, in order for your months to filter properly, you're going to want to use that sort by column feature that many of you, I'm sure, are already aware of. And you can see here, sort by month and calendar year integer. So what's happening is, behind the scenes, it's also using that feature to, summarize your column. So when that's not included, it's still totaling on that 4 and that 5 instead of actually, summing it. So you may be asking yourself, okay, well, how do I solve this? So I included the next table, and what I did here was I put the old calculation, and then I also did the new calculation. And since we saw that the column month and calendar new year integer were kind of interfering with it, what I did in my new calculation was I added it over here to the all selected. So that's the new one, and that's the old one, and I kind of put them side by side so we can compare and really see visually what's going on. And I think most of you already remember, the numbers. I'll just show you again. We should get a total altogether of 12. And if we were choosing these 2 months, we should get 9, etc. So you can kind of already get a little brief view of it. So let's go and unselect these months, and we'll start with April. Okay, we've got 5/5. Everything looks good. Let's hit May. Okay, so without that all selected month and calendar year integer, it's showing 4. But with it, it's actually, showing 9. So it's actually doing it properly because it's counting in that sort by column. And if you add in June, you can see here too, calculations working, and the old calculation now isn't working here. So just that small little, part of that sort by column affects your calculations so much. And, it's so important to be careful with your numbers because, I like to call, when you're in a boardroom or something, I like to call some of the people there, sharks, because they're just looking at those numbers and, one tiny mess up and then there goes your whole report. So, I can't stress how important it is to check numbers, but also just now you kind of have a little bit of a tip about the sort by column, how it can affect your numbers and how important that is. I believe Microsoft is going to be fixing that soon, but, now you have this little tip just to be careful. So, you can be on your toes and know what's going on with these numbers. Okay, so that was my little demo for the sort by column, and let's go on. Let's move on to the next one. So demo 4, and as I was saying before, I do not have a blog for this one. I have to get to it. I was supposed to do it for this presentation. I still haven't had a chance, but we can look through it. It's actually a lot of fun, this little presentation, this little part of the presentation, and everybody really enjoys the little toggle button right here, and really excited to show you this. Okay, here we go. So I had a request from my supervisors where, we had this change management report, and whoops, sorry about that. I just closed it. And they wanted me to, we had this change policy, but some of the supervisors wanted it more relaxed. So they wanted it to be on the same screen, and they wanted a little toggle button to switch between one view and another view. So if you look over here, we created this little toggle button, and you can hit per policy and none policy, and you can see it just switches right over. Now you think it would be, just like a little magical button there, but there's some work behind it. So I kind of, create a little demo where we can go over it piece by piece to see, how I actually did this with the bookmarks. So I am going to go over to, let's see, did I keep it up? I apologize if you hear my children. They're home, before school starts, so they've got lots of energy. Okay, so let me actually move over. I don't think I kept it open, so let me open that, and I apologize about the little delay of it taken to open up. I have a fast PC, so usually goes pretty quick. Let's see how fast it is when it's streaming.
So maybe we can make a question. We have a question in the chat.
Sure.
During opening. So why use relative months versus a month calendar?
Because the month calendar doesn't let me actually move through those rolling 13 months, and it gives me like a static selection. So usually what I found is when I have those 13 months, it won't give my users an option to select the other months. So I had to use that relative date filter.
Okay, thanks.
Did that answer it? Because I know sometimes it's confusing, but they do have a lot of tricks out there. I saw it in DAX that allows you to do, a rolling 13 months just using a formula or calculation. But then it leads the user with only those 13 months to select from. It doesn't give them the additional months.
Okay. Yeah, if you like to unmute yourself, you can ask the question by yourself. Curtis? Ciao? If you like, you can ask a question, because the question was relative months versus relative month calendar, but I don't understand the question. Okay, mic is not working.
Okay.
Well, maybe we can shift the question to the end, and then we can go again over this one.
Yeah.
If you can concrete the question, then maybe that would be great.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, my question was, so like I thought there was an option when you were showing your demo earlier that there was two options you could click. One was relative months and one was relative months calendar.
Oh, no, I think when I was showing you, I accidentally hit the wrong button and I selected it, but it's actually the relative date.
Oh, okay.
I think that's probably what you're referring to.
Okay, great. So you can go on.
That answers it. I hope. Sure. I think I know what he was talking about when I was like sliding through. I accidentally hit the calendar instead of the relative date. I'm sorry. I was trying to move fast and hit the wrong button there.
Okay. Is the question is answered, Curtis?
Sure, I think so. I mean,
okay, good.
Okay, if not, we can chat afterwards.
Yeah,
so see
Thank
what's
you.
Confusing you. Okay. Anything else before I continue on?
No more questions.
Okay. So I will go to the bookmarks. So if you go to view, I'm sorry, some of this just really comes fast to me, so I have to slow down.
Actually, sorry. I'm just looking at my own Power BI desktop, and there is an option to go relative date is in the last X months or X calendar months.
Oh, that's what you were talking about, calendar months.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
I was wondering what the difference was from a functionality perspective as to why you use one over the other.
Yeah, there is a small difference, but I will have to like show you after.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, it'd be better that way. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so if you go over to view and you can hit selection and bookmarks, you can see here that what this does is it gives you can kind of hover over it and you can see it's highlighting each object. And I'm sure many of you can see that now as I get into the other ones. And what you'll notice is I've created other small little objects for the non-relaxed and then, the non-policy and the per policy. So what I do is I actually come over here and we're going to focus on the policy. And we're going to hit this button off because sometimes, this gets a little tricky about this is you got to be really meticulous. You're going to really watch what you're hitting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide. So this button here hides it. And I'm going to want to go over to chain success.
What is that button called?
I'm sorry?
What is that button called?
Which button?
What is that button called? You said you're going to click on that button. It's very small, so I cannot read it. What is that button called?
Oh, it's called this right here. This is per policy.
No, the other button on the right side. No, down below. Like when you clicked on an entry, then you clicked on the right side.
Entry, clicked on the right side.
I think she means the show hide.
Yeah.
You're asking which one am I hiding?
Yeah, if you move towards the right side, you just clicked on that icon.
Right.
Towards that's the one.
Yeah, I'm just hiding it. Is all I'm doing.
What does it read?
It's so if I show this, if I hit this, it'll show the image, and then when I hit this, it actually hides it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And this is the next one is chain success policy, which we're going to leave, and we're going to hit. This is relax, so we want to hide this because we don't want to show that on the policy. And this one we're going to hide too. And this is the per policy text. And this is relax. We're going to want to hide that as well. And you can kind of see this is kind of coming in now. This is the toggle image, which is on. And this is the chain success, month over month, so forth. This is everything that we want. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to hit add on the bookmarks. And I'm just going to rename this to policy. And what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to go to my little toggle button. And I guess I forgot to tell you that you can actually find toggle buttons if you just go to Google, you hit toggle button on, toggle button off, you can actually upload this into Power BI under the images. It's pretty easy. So once you do that, you have the policy, and then you're going to want to hover over here, and then you're going to want to do an action. And we'll do that last because we want to be able to switch back and forth. I don't have the other page developed yet. So, okay, so since we have the policy, we're going to want to hit add. So we're going to add another bookmark. This is bookmark 2, and we're going to rename this to non-policy. Okay, and then once we do that, we're just going to come back over, and we're going to, oops, sorry, that one's not part of the thing. We're going to hit the toggle image off, and hit non-policy. Let's see, this is just chain success, so we're going to hide that one. Sure, that's the one I want to hide, okay. And then, as you can see, this is a little bit tedious when you're working on this. This is relax, but I wanted to go over with it with you so you can kind of get an idea of what you have to do. Relax, so we're going to take the toggle image on, off, and we're going to hide that, and we're going to, oops, need that one. Let's see. We're going to hide that, and we're going to hide that so it all keeps the relaxed. Let me see which one this is. Yes, so I'm going to hide that one as well. And let's see what that does. That is month over month. Perfect. Okay, so now just be careful with this. I've done this many times where I've actually hit the button. I forgot to hit update and I had to do it all over again. So it just does, require a little bit of patience as you're building this. So let's see if we got it going here. Okay, perfect. So we got policy, right, the bookmark, and then none policy. So what you want to do now is you want it to be able to toggle. And do I have that toggle button on? Okay, perfect. So you're just going to click here, and you're going to go to actions. You're just going to hit bookmark, and I'm going to want it to go to the non-policy page. Now let's just hit update just to make sure. And now I'm going to move over to non-policy. And I'm going to come over here to action, bookmark, and we're going to hit policy. Therefore, it can move to the other page. All right, so let's test it out. Actually, I can't remember if I hit update. I'm sorry. I forget myself sometimes, because I'm moving so fast. Let's see. Okay, perfect. It saved it. Okay. So now if we kind of click over here, there we go. So now we got it fully functioning. Like I was saying before, it can be a bit tedious because you have to make sure you're hiding your right objects, your right images. And if you don't actually hide, if you don't actually, update the actual bookmark, sometimes it can overwrite itself. Once or twice when I first built this, I gave myself a headache. I created it, then I went over here and I accidentally hit update and I totally erased everything that I had did. So it was a little bit of a pain. But once you get it, you start getting faster and faster at it. But I had a lot of people, in my past presentations just fascinated with this ability to be able to kind of toggle something and make it look like, the button has a lot of functionality when that's all you're doing is going to bookmarks and you're just simply hiding it and just switching toggle between, pages. So that's another, tip that a lot of people really like when creating the reports. And you can apply this also to visualizations. So you can hide one visualization and show one. I don't know if any of you had worked, in Tableau before. I had worked in Tableau before this, and they had the ability to hide, a visualization and only show it when you want to. So you have the same ability as well here. Okay.
I have a quick question. The toggle icon itself, it does not come inbuilt in Power BI. You have to go to Google and get the icon and paste it here. Is that what you said?
Correct. Yes. You just go to Google and you can take any button that you want to take. You can just, Google it. And my supervisors had wanted a certain look, so I had Googled it to find the kind of look that they wanted. And I just went into here and just went to, I believe it's like images, and I just selected the image and pulled it right in.
So you go to Google, select the image you like, copy, and bring it here and just say paste, and it'll paste it in that blue bar.
Let's see if I can do this by heart, but there's a part here. I think it's insert actually. You go to image, so you go to insert and then image, and then you can pull it from your computer.
Okay, insert image, and then you keep your cursor in the blue bar, so it'll paste it exactly where you want.
So when you hit image, yes, you'll be able to pick it up, and then it will come onto your screen, and then you can move it where you would like it to be.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes.
And in the bookmark part, you click on update after you do everything, right?
Yes, that's what I do. I prefer to do it that way.
After you have hidden whatever you wanted to hide, and that's when you click on update.
Yes. Yes. So you would hide what you need to hide, and then you would come over here and select update.
Okay. And that column under format image, what is it used for?
So in the actual image, oops, sorry, I shrunk it. I go to the action, and this will give me the action to be able to toggle to the other page.
Okay. So it's under action. Okay. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So now that I've finished that, I had wanted to share with you the rest of the presentation, because I only got one other tip that I want to show you, which is my PowerPoint. So let me click over here, and I'm sure you can see my screen. It's been working good so far. So what I did, I made this back, I think, in January 2020. I found all of the bookmark or of the links from Microsoft that people need to be able to get familiar with Power BI, or just a bunch of links that you can need if you want to quickly look for it. And I created a little table with the title, the description, and the link. And you can find this on my Twitter or LinkedIn. So if you perhaps wanted to know about DAX and you wanted to know the official Microsoft site, I included it there, as well as a short description of what it was. It provides technical documentation for DAX that consists of code examples and tutorials. I also included the Power BI user group, connect with your local Power BI user group. That has changed just recently. There's a lot of changes going on with that. So I'm probably going to have to update that, because now you can actually find your Power BI user group on the actual Power BI community site. So I'm going to have to probably update that link. I don't think a lot of user groups are on there right now. So I think a lot of user groups of what I've noticed are on meetup.com. I put mine on there, and it gets a lot more publicity. But just do know that they do have that site within Power BI now, Microsoft Power BI. But they do have the old site still up, so maybe I'll leave it up there. I'm kind of going back and forth with it, but that's the dynamic community, the old site. And then I also gave some links to the Power BI community, which I was telling you about, Power Query, Power BI Service, Power BI Guided Learning, the training, the blog, the official blog for the Microsoft Employee blog site. So there's the actual Microsoft Employee blog site on their page, and then there's actually a community blog site, and that's where I blog, because I'm not an employee. We also have a site for Power BI plan features. If you go to the Power BI community, I have my link here, and somebody also gave me a link to a nice site which also talks about the releases, and I think they made that in Power BI, so it's really cool. And then there's the Power BI documentation, and of course the official Power BI site is first. Okay, so just a little summary of what we went over, and then I'll take some questions. We went over how to hide a column header on a table in Power BI. We went over how to do a quick trick using the relative date filter in Power BI. What you should know about the sort by column setting in Power BI, and how to add a toggle feature in Power BI. And then I just went over the quick reference sheet. So you should now have some good tips and tricks and a little toggle feature to jazz up your report. And thank you so much, Catherine, for having me. I I really appreciate it. I've had a good time showing this to everybody. And now I'll take some questions so we can chat.
First, thanks for me. It was very, very interesting. I learned some things too here. So I have no questions, but maybe the others. So don't be shy. Unmute yourself and ask questions.
Hi, I have a question about the exam. Just for the basic Power BI exam, do you need to have practical knowledge with Power BI service, or is it sufficient to just have worked with Power BI desktop?
You would definitely need knowledge of the Power BI service. If you actually go to the Power BI community, or if you just Google Power BI exam, they have a whole list study guide of what you'll need. I actually created a blog on that. Let me pull it up for you. I'll share my screen with you. This. If you can see my screen, I wrote a big blog about analyzing data with Microsoft Power BI, tips to help you succeed for the exam. Mm-hmm. And I give you links to the practice exam, what you need to know, and all that information. You can find it on the community site too. It was pretty popular blog, so it's been very helpful.
So apart from preparation, you actually need to have hands-on experience with Power BI service?
I would say so, yes. I do know there's a few questions on the workspaces. It's been a year since I took the exam now. And it does change from time to time, but when I taken it, we had the workspaces. It's hard for me to think right off my head. And they asked me a few other questions about role playing, if you're an admin and whatnot. So yes, you would definitely need some experience with that.
Okay. And would you need DAX, practical knowledge about DAX for passing the basic exam, or you don't need to?
I would say you need some experience with it. I wouldn't say you had to be an expert, but you would definitely need to have, a little bit of your feet in the water to know some of the questions they will ask you.
So then it will be better to get actually hands-on experience with Power BI before attempting to get your certification, right?
That sometimes goes with people's, feelings and how they are with test taking. Some people are good test takers where they could just review what's on the tests and then they can take it and pass. Other people, like to have more hands-on experience and play with it. So that's really, how you are with taking exams. You can do the study guide and try it. And if that's what you're good at, you can do it. For me personally, I felt like having my hands-on experience was the best. And then I did the study guide, which helped me a lot. So it all depends on, how you are with taking tests.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So do we have other questions? I guess it was all clear. And thanks again that he was here. And yeah, maybe we see us in another power break, maybe next year.
Yes, I hope everyone enjoyed it. I know a lot of people have fun with that little toggle button. So
yeah, that was great. Okay, so if we have no other questions, I would say you are released, and yeah.
Thank you so much. I had a great time.
Yes, thank you. Then we see us next time, and have a nice day, evening, or whatever.
Yes. Good day, everyone.
Good. Bye.
Bye-bye.